Hi guys, welcome to another lesson on the technique application. Today we're going to work on the switching between the leg motion and the heel up technique. This is very important and it's going to be very helpful for whenever we have to shift from a slower tempo to a faster tempo without losing the synchronization with the spring or without really feeling the shifting, so that we don't have hard times going from a motion to the other. And it's something that usually it's not practiced on its own, and it's not there isn't a workout dedicated to this kind of things. And for that reason, many times a lot of drummers have hard times doing this kind of shifting, and their playing is not solid because of this. Instead, if we really work on breaking this down and we understand how to go from the leg motion to the heel up technique, that will benefit a lot of the parts that we're playing, because this is something that actually happens many times and we don't even think about it. So let's go and see how this works, breaking it down. So the first thing we have to do is to, of course, understand and make sure that our body knows the difference between a leg motion and an ankle motion. And by this, it means that we will have to make sure that we are able to isolate the leg motion and then isolate the ankle motion. So let's make sure, first of all, that we can do this type of motion and then this type of motion. So in this case, the ankle is just staying relaxed and the input comes from the leg itself, and then instead in the second part we isolate completely this part of the leg and we only we shift the input to the ankle. So once we know that our body is actually able, with both limbs, with both parts of our body, right and left, can do this thing without any problem, we can start applying this and deal with this on the pedal. And a good step to do in between doing this without the pedal and working with dealing with the spring directly is to actually take the spring off and start working on this shifting without the spring. So the first step for this exercise is to make sure that we can actually play the single leg motion with our strong part of our body. So I'm right-handed, so I will start with my right foot. And I'll make sure that I am completely synchronized with the pedal without the spring and doing a leg motion. And then from here, when I feel comfortable, I switch to ankle motion, isolating completely the upper part of my leg. So if I hold this part of my leg, I will still be able to do the ankle motion and then go back to leg motion. And so from here we will start playing 1 bar leg motion and 1 bar heel up ankle motion. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then of course we do the same thing with our left leg and ankle. So in this part, the two tricky parts of this exercise are switching from leg to ankle, which the first stroke, it's still going to be a leg motion. So it's going to be leg, 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 ankle, 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 leg, 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 ankle, ankle, ankle. So that we take advantage of the leg motion to activate the first stroke of the ankle motion part. So it's going to be a downstroke with the leg and controlling it with our ankle. Then the second part, going to ankle motion to leg motion, it's going to be kind of the opposite. So we will go from ankle, 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 leg, leg, leg. So it's gonna be this kind of thing. So it's kind of like we have to go from ankle, leg. So it's literally shifting the input from the ankle, from the up motion of the ankle to the upstroke of the leg. Leg, 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 leg. Let's make sure that we don't kick the pedal when we do this, but that we always stay synchronized, unison with the pedal board. There's a big difference between this and this. In both cases, either leg and ankle. So stay synchronized to the pedal is very important, because if we don't get used to this in this part, then when we'll put the spring back up, the spring will give us hard times doing what we were just doing now. Let's see why. Okay, so now that we have the spring on, we will understand straight away that the spring, it's an external force, a powerful external force that has needs, okay? It wants the beater to come back as fast as possible as the beater hits the surface that we're playing on. Okay, so from here, the spring pulls the beater back towards us. So if we don't stay synchronized to the pedal in the section, in the no spring section, we won't get used to follow the pedal and stay unison. And when we will put the spring on, the spring, we will have the pulling pressure of the spring against the pushing pressure of the ankle, and that will create contractions, because it's gonna be a lot of physical work, and we're only using micro muscles of the articulations, which is the ankle that we're using right now, and so that will make it even harder to make this motion happen. So now we will apply the same exercise with the spring using the same concepts. So starting with the leg motion, staying synchronized to the pedal, and then when we will feel comfortable, we will switch to an ankle motion. And so we will use the same process of going from leg to ankle using a leg motion as first stroke. So leg, ankle, 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 leg, 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 ankle, ankle, ankle. And same thing when we go back from ankle to leg motion. So we will follow the response of the beater with the leg, with the whole leg, and not only with the ankle. The difference between the heel up and the heel down, for example, is that with the heel down, it's a little bit easier to understand when we have to do the leg motion to switch to the ankle motion, because we can completely lay our heel down. Instead, with the heel up, we can't. So we will have to still maintain a position of slightly having the toes going, pointing down compared to the ankle, and then when the pedal hits the surface that we're playing on, we will raise the heel. So the toes, sorry. So in the heel down, what happens is this. Okay, so we actually lay the heel down. Instead, in the heel up, we don't touch the floor with the heel, but we will just go back, raising our toes. So as you can see, I never touch the board with my heel. Of course, balance will have a big role in this exercise, because we will literally have both of our legs raised at one point when when we do the alternated ankle motion. So we will have to make sure that our weight is not leaning in front, so that we have our ankles free. And so we will have to put all the weight on the stool, always. Okay, without shifting the weight. Another very important thing are the distances between the notes. So let's make sure we don't have weird way of playing this, but that we actually play 8 notes and 16 notes. So half speed, double speed, half speed, double speed. And that we don't have like a shuffle feeling or anything like that. And especially when we alternate the feet, we don't have these kind of things, but that we really pay attention to the distances between the notes and the quality of our playing. So today's workout is going to be playing 1 bar of 8 note with leg motions and 4 bars of 16 notes with ankle motion, heel up technique, using the heel up technique. And we will start without the spring, and we will play right foot, left foot, and alternated feet, and then we will put the spring back up and we will do the same exact thing. We're gonna follow a click track, and if you will have hard times to get to 4 bars of ankle motion at that speed, try to go until 3 or 2 or 1, so alternating 1 bar of 8 notes and 1 bar of 16 notes. And if that's still too hard for you, then slow down the BPM and try to get to at least 1 bar and 1 bar. And then in time you will improve it and extend it to 1 bar of 8 notes and 4 bars of 16 notes. Let's do this. Then we will do the same thing with the spring on. Okay, and then you will repeat this for at least other 4 speeds. And of course we will have to increase the speed every time we do this. And again, if at the next speed you won't be able to do 4 bars of 16 notes or 30-second notes when doing the alternated part, you can at least try to get until 3 bars, and then you can increase even more and get to 2 bars, and then increase even more and get to 1 bar. This again will help us to work on the shifting between the leg and ankle motion, make it natural, make it something that we're comfortable in doing. And there are some difference between the heel down and the heel up. For who have already seen the heel down part, and of course is the heel down works a little bit more on the up motion, and the heel up works a little bit more on the down motion, so that you have a very wide range of motion with your ankle, which will help control dynamic and everything. As you can see, I will always try to keep the dynamics as high as possible, so to have the beater coming as back as possible at any speed, both in the 8 notes or 16 notes or 30-second notes sections, so that I have a good volume. I like to have a loud kick, and this is important even if you use triggers or any kind of setting that you have. That doesn't matter, because it's always good to have a good volume for triggers, for microphone, for a live show, for study, when you record in the studio section. Every time it's good to have everything, like both very high dynamics and very low dynamics. So I suggest you to work on and trying to have the beater coming as much back as possible. So with this exercise we will benefit the switch between leg motion and ankle motion, so that we really educate our brain to understand which are the differences between the two things, and it will understand what the leg motion means and what the ankle motion means, and then how to switch between the two things, still staying synchronized to the spring and to the pedal, and will help us on the application when we will be playing and we will have to go from one thing to another. We won't feel any effort in doing that anymore, because we will be so used to it that it will just feel normal. Remember to stay always synchronized to the pedal, to isolate the leg motion to the ankle motion. Stay synchronized when you're working without the spring and when we're working with the spring. Have a good practice, and I'll see you next week.